Let's talk inverse trig functions on a calculator. To do an arcsine, an arccosine, or an arctangent, typically those are second functions above the sine, cosine, and tangent on a scientific calculator. That's true for this one. So if I want to find, say, the arcsine of negative 0.3, that's not one that I can look up on the unit circle. That's not an angle that we know, but the calculator can help with that. I'm going to go second function, sine, there's my arcsine, and then just put the number in, negative 0.3, and there it is. We're in radians, and that's how we want to be for inverse trig functions in radians, unless something says otherwise. So negative 0.305 is my value, and we're done, no problem. If I want, say, the inverse secant of 3, that is a problem, because not only does the typical scientific calculator not have the inverse secant, the inverse cosecant, or the inverse cotangent, it doesn't even have the regular secant, cosecant, or cotangent. So what to do? We're going to walk through the process once, and then after we walk through it once, we don't have to use it ever again. We can just cut to the chase. The arcsecant of 3 means I'm looking for the angle whose secant value is 3. X is the angle whose secant value is 3. So I can write it like this. 3 is the secant value of what angle? Or you can think of applying the secant function to both sides of the equation. Also brings you here. We're going to take advantage of the fact that we know the secant is the reciprocal of the cosine. So I'm going to make reciprocals on both sides. 1 over 3 equals 1 over secant x, still true. And then I'm going to say, but 1 over secant x, it's much cleaner to write that as cosine x. The cosine is the reciprocal of the secant, so I might as well write it that way. So now I have the cosine of what angle is 1/3. We can think of putting an arccosine function on each side of this equation. So I get the arccosine of 1/3 is what I'm looking for. X hasn't changed. X is the thing I'm looking for. X is still the thing I'm looking for. But now I've written it in a way that I can actually use my scientific calculator to evaluate it. I want the inverse cosine of 1/3. 1/3 is 1 divided by 3. And there it is, 1.231. And that's in radians. And we found it. From now on, from here forward, it's okay if you go the arcsecant of 3 is the arccosine of the reciprocal of 3, and just jump to the end like that. For example, if I want the arccosecant of negative 25, I know that the cosecant is the reciprocal of the sine. So this is the same as the arcsine of the reciprocal of negative 25, which looks like that. And that's something I can put into the calculator. Let's see what we get. The arcsine of negative 1 over 25. And we got negative 0.04.